Auckland Airport is the largest and busiest airport in New Zealand, with over 21 million passengers in the year ended March 2019. The airport is located near Mangere, a residential suburb, and Airport Oaks, a service hub suburb 21 kilometers south of the Auckland city centre. It is both a domestic and international hub for Air New Zealand, and the New Zealand hub of Jetstar Airways. The airport is one of New Zealand's most important infrastructure assets, providing thousands of jobs for the region. It handled 71% of New Zealand's international air passenger arrivals and departures in 2000. It is one of only 2 commercial airports in New Zealand capable of handling Boeing 747 and Airbus A380 aircraft. It has a capacity of about 45 flight movements per hour, using a single runway that is fully Cat-E capable. In November 2007, work began on a new northern runway, to be built in several stages and to be used mainly by smaller aircraft, freeing up capacity on the main runway. The project was put on hold for at least 12 months in October 2009. However, and deferred for a further few years in August 2010 following consultation with airlines and a review of capacity management options. The timing of the recommencement of construction of the second runway will be demand-driven, relative to the capacity of the existing runway. The expected completion date for the second runway is now 2025. The site of the airport was first used as an airfield by the Auckland Aero Club. In 1928, the club leased some land from a dairy farmer to accommodate the club's 3 de Havilland gypsy moths. The club president noted at the time that the site has many advantages of vital importance for an aerodrome and training ground. It has good approaches, is well drained and is free from power lines, buildings and fogs. Prior to rebuilding, this was known as Mangere Aerodrome. In 1960, work started to transform the site into Auckland's main airport, taking over from Venuapai in the northwest of the city. Much of the runway is on land reclaimed from the Manukau harbour. The first flight to leave was an Air New Zealand DC-8 in November 1965, bound for Sydney. The airport was officially opened the following year, with a grand air pageant on Auckland Anniversary Weekend, 29 to the 31st of January 1966. Upon the airport's opening, the runway was originally 2,590 meters long, with an extension to its current length carried out in 1973. A new international terminal, named after Jean Batten, was built in 1977. Prior to this, all flights used what is now the domestic terminal. In 2005, the international terminal was altered, separating arriving and departing passengers. Previously taxiway Alpha from the main runway. At a later stage, the runway would have been lengthened to 1,950 meters to allow it be used by small jets on domestic and trans-Tasman flights. In August 2009, however, the project was put on hold due to a downturn in air travel, and later in 2010 the project was suspended. Construction for Stage 1 started in November 2007. Stage 2 saw the runway being lengthened to 1,650 meters, allowing medium-sized international jet flights to land there, from destinations such as the Pacific Islands or Australia. Eventually a new domestic terminal would also be built to the north to better utilize the new runway. The new runway will thus free up the longer southern runway to handle more heavy jet operations. The 10-year project would cost 120 million New Zealand dollars, not including substantial extensions planned for the airport arrivals, departure buildings and associated structures. In 2009, an extension to the international terminal was constructed, creating Pier B. Pier B covers 5,500 square meters and has been designed to allow for the addition of new gates when required. It currently has 2 gates, both capable of handling Airbus A380 aircraft. In May 2009, Emirates became the first airline to fly the A380 to Auckland, using the aircraft on its daily Dubai-Sydney-Auckland route. On the 2nd of October 2012, Emirates began operating the Dubai-Melbourne-Auckland with an A380, having previously operated the route with AB 777-300ER. From the 2nd of October 2013, the A380 took over from AB 777-300ER on the Dubai-Brisbane-Auckland route. This will mean that Emirates now serves Auckland solely with A380s, and Auckland Airport becomes the only airport in the world, other than Dubai, to have 3 scheduled Emirates A380s on the ground at the same time. In 2014, Singapore Airlines was the second airline to operate A380s at the airport. In 2013, the domestic terminal undertook a series of upgrades costing a total of $30 million. Stage 1 ran from January 2013 to March 2013, and involved changes to the drop-off points and roads outside the terminal. In the second half of 2013, the baggage claim belts were lengthened, parts of the apron was changed, and new corridors were connected to the jet bridges. The 2 different sides to the terminals now share a centralized security screening.